Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another AB Daily News with your hockey coach guru, Coach Frenchy. Today, episode number 252. What your menu coach today? First of all, I'm going to talk about French veterans are really impressive since the beginning of the year 2023. Secondly, do you want to trade or not? David SAVARD. Interesting, coach. Finally, my third subject, get or not, Kravtsov from the New York Rangers. This is what we have today for you guys, but before we start, we invite you, please don't forget to click on the likes, subscribe to the Hockey Nation live show, and finally, leave me a comment about this episode, and let's dive in and talk about my first subject of the day. My first subject of the day, guys, is about the Montreal Canadiens. Some veterans pick it up at the right time. What? Yes, here we go. Mike Hoffman, 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points in the last 12 games. For Hoffman, we know he has right now 8 points at 5 versus 5. He's played right over 16 to 18 minutes per game. At this moment, he's at the top 6 for the Montreal second line with DADONOV and Kirby Dach. And he played right now on the power play unit. Why? Because the Montreal missing a couple of players, and that gave him an opportunity right now to show what he looked like for Hoffman. We know he carried on another extra year of $4.5 million. He has since 2023 year one of the best top forward for Montreal Canadiens. His defensive zone coverage is really great in the last 10 games with the Montreal Canadiens. Overall, Mike Hoffman contribute on the offensive side for the Montreal Canadiens. Saturday against the New York Islanders, he had 3 assists. He's picked it up at the right time for possibility to make a trade for Mike Hoffman. The second player I want to talk about, guys, his teammates on the same line. It's Evgeny Dadonov. 2 goals, 6 assists, 8 points in the last 15 games. Yeah, coach, it's not a lot. But what he brings not only on the offensive productivity, but more guys on the stat analytic. First of all, he carried on a 50.4% share to chance for the Montreal Canadiens. He has 50.1% expected goal differential. He's the only forward on it. Both categories is positive. So when he's on the ice, Montreal have more chance to score and more chance to give a goal. And that's what that does right now with the Montreal Canadiens since December. Since he played with Dach, he have a better productivity on both sides of the game. And you can see, I feel like he's a new Dadonov compared at the beginning of the season. Dadonov always been in NHL great hockey player. Obviously, does not work with the Montreal when he start playing the third line, fourth line. They never find him a specific role. It's better now. Now we know he's a UFA next season, carrying over a $5 million contract. If ever he get traded, Montreal Canadiens guys in return, I will have to retaining some kind of money of his salary cap. But don't expect too much for that enough. My last player I want to talk about as a veteran is a 27 years old Jonathan Drouin. I understand many of you does not like Drouin, but I always said he produced about 1.54 points per game same with Montreal Canadiens. He have 8 points in the last 9 games. And no, he did not score. He has some kind of chance, but again, he's a guy, he can give you some point many game because he have a great vision, he passed the puck very well, soft hands, and understand does not drive to the net. But again, he's another player carrying over $5 million salary cap AAV right now. Possibly it could be traded. And the same way like that, and Montreal will have to remaining some kind of money if ever Drouin get another opportunity to go to play somewhere. I don't expect that enough. And Drouin return with the Montreal Canadiens next season. Only Hoffman, because he have 1 more year to go. Possible Hoffman next year, if ever he play with Montreal, have a chance, an opportunity to maybe his value will be increasing at the same time for the trade deadline. So this guy conclude my first subject, but I would like to hear from you. Do you expect Drouin to get traded? Do you expect Dadonov to get traded? And do you think Hoffman could be traded at some point from Ken Hughes during the trade deadline or maybe during the offseason? And we understand, I'm sure you agree with me, the value and return is not great for the Montreal Canadiens. Let's move on now, guys, my friend, and my second subject of the day. My second subject of the day, guys, is about the David Savard. Trade or not trade David Savard? We know already, Monahan, Edmondson, Anderson are three players right now, or maybe in front of him to make a trade. Possible Jake Allen could be on this way too. But do you feel appropriate for the Montreal Canadiens trade David Savard? Here, what happening with him? First of all, he's 32 years old. He still have 2 more years at $3.5 million per year salary cap. And he's already played 12 years in NHL. This season with the Montreal Canadiens, he has 1 goal, 12 assists, 13 points, but he block shot 125. He's right now on the pace to reach his highest block shot at any season he played in NHL this year. He played this moment over 22 minutes per game. This is the third highest TOI since he played in NHL too. Savard play a big role right now for the Montreal Canadiens. You can figure out this very easily. Now, one thing he does for the Montreal Canadiens is role model. Off ice, on ice. Play at the beginning of the year with Caden Cooley. Then for the last couple of games, he was played with Jacky. His leadership is excellent. Finally, he's coaching the kids, the players, the rookies, on ice, off ice. He's always trying to teaching them when they are on the bench, example. And I think this is really important. Montreal does not have a lot of players like Savard to carry on the rookies under his wings. And I'm not sure if you feel like he should trade or not David Savard. But since the beginning of the season, we understand he does not play like he was before at 24, 28, 29. Many fans think he's very slow. He's just right now, for the Montreal Canadiens, does not play on the right chair. He should be on the third pairing, and Montreal use him as the first pairing. Some night it's difficult for him, but overall, I'm really impressed Savard this year compared to last season. Now, what is the value of David Savard on the market? Some people said maybe a first-round pick. We know he got traded for Columbus at 28, 29 years old to the Tampa Bay Lightning when they won the Stanley Cup. They got a first-round pick, a third-round pick. I don't see the same value right now from David Savard if ever Montreal trade. Maybe a second-round pick, maybe a top prospect A. That would be the best Montreal can get in return. But do you feel it's the right moment to trade David Savard? Do you think it would be better to trade him next year or maybe in 2 years? But again, he's getting 32 years old, 33 years old in October, 34 following year, and 35 at the end of his contract. I would like to hear from you guys. Tell me, do you think Montreal Canadiens should trade David Savard? Leave me a comment, and let's move on for my last subject of the day. My last subject of the day, guys, we heard this a couple of days ago. He requests for the second time, Kravtsov for the New York Rangers want to get out of the Big Apple. This don't work. This is the second time with Gerard Gallant, the New York Rangers, the manager, Chris Drury. This have to be at the end the next couple of days. But I would like to talk a little bit more about this possibility he could join the Montreal Canadiens. First of all, he was a 9th overall pick by the New York Rangers when Jeff Gordon was the manager over there. And 28 games this season, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points. His TOI is only 11 minutes 25. Most of his time playing at the bottom 6 like Lafreniere for the New York Rangers. Kravtsov is 23 years old right now. He's a big winger, 6'3", 185 pounds, shoot on the left. His salary cap right now is $835,000 per year, and he's going to be a RFA for the next 3 years in NHL. If you think about his analytic number, they are really good for the New York Rangers. 52.8% for shooting percentage on the net. His expected goal is at 51.5, one of the best again for the New York Rangers as a forward, and he played only on the bottom 6. Why is a really good fit for the Montreal Canadiens? First of all, he would be the top 9 forward for the Montreal Canadiens. He's a big winger. Montreal does not have a lot of big winger as prospect. Talk about Farrell right now, Mézard, Caulfield already with Montreal. RHP is another one if ever he stay with Montreal. To get a 6'3" winger, I think that will helping the Montreal Canadiens. Plus, He can play on the power play. He shoot on the left. And Montreal have a lot of right shooter. The Suzuki, the Caulfield, the Doc. Add a left winger and a left shooter that will help Montreal. Finally, he have a great wrist shot and he have a soft hands. I think for me, Montreal could take advantage to benefit to get Kravtsov. Now, what is the cost? Because he requests for the second time, and because I feel like Rangers now have a lot of patience anymore about him, I don't feel the price is high. You can get him right now really cheap. What you can get in return, guys, possible picks and a prospect B. A third round pick, a 4th round pick, a Nollander, a Frey brother, a Schoenemann, a defenseman, when Montreal Canadiens consider them as more like a prospect B inside of the organization. And I think that's pretty much what New York Rangers is looking for. They don't expect a 1st round pick. They don't expect a 2nd round pick. They don't expect a top A player like Joshua Roy or Reddy Kidney in return. I think right now the Rangers, it's more like the drama with him. They will let him go at lower price for them. I would like to hear from you guys. What do you think? Do you feel like Montreal should get Kravtsov or not, or pass on him and move on? Here we go. This concludes, guys, all my subject I have for you on this episode. Hopefully you enjoy it. Episode number 252. We talk about SAVARD, talk about Kravtsov, and some veterans asset increasing at the right time. And before we leave, we invite you, please don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey National Show, leave me a comment about this episode, and of course I want to remind you, you have greatness inside of you, and I wish you an amazing blessing day, everybody.